When you get a job to do in RoofWizard, the temptation is to rush in, model the job and carry on, when in fact there are a couple of other steps which you would typically do before you actually start modeling anything. And that's describe everything about the job. And you would do that by selecting the job details dialog. It pops up and prompts you for details such as the job number. A job doesn't necessarily become a quote, so perhaps at this stage there is no job number. Remember that. You might be actually in quote stage, so you would provide it with a quote number. Quote numbers can have prefixes and suffixes. Refer to the manual on how to set that up. An order number if it's progressed that far, and you can also define multiple delivery areas up to 10, and that's done under setup. We'll review that in another video. Site address, and the install date might be say 14 days hence. The pickup date, well, we'll make that the same day. The delivery date, well, that'll be the day before. And latitude and longitude, well, if you're using a GPS and you want to provide instructions to people, you could provide them with that information. Rafter spacing, well, the software doesn't really do anything with that at this stage, but it may be useful later on, and you will see that when you get to defining the roof geometry. Depends on how you set up your materials whether that becomes relevant or not. Similarly with framing, you can have the option of timber and steel framing. Depending on how you define your fasteners and how those fasteners are applied with accessories and flashings, the software can automatically select the appropriate fastener between a timber frame structure or a steel frame structure. The wind zone, that's just for information, it doesn't do anything. Similarly with job type and roof type. These are areas where you simply provide information that you may later use in the construction of your report. Notice you can load the details of the last job that you've completed, and in that case you might have most of the details the same, except perhaps for example with multiple units you might be doing units 1 through to 10 or something. The bulk of the information will stay the same. That's a quick way of getting all the details in all over again without having to type it all over again. So we'll just put the proper street address. And so that's our job details. So that's set that up. The information is now stored with this model and is then going to be available for use when we prepare our quotation. Typically the next thing you would do is select a customer. Now selecting your customer is from a list of previously defined customers, and in defining the customers, you'll also note in the definition of those customers you also have predefined such things as customer discounts. The customer discounts section has a great deal of detail, indeed right down to different discount rates for each category of material. There's a lot that goes on there, and I'd suggest you have a look at that in slow time at a later time. But once you've selected your customer, that is the information that's ready to be applied to the client proposal when you get to the end of this job. You might also select an installer at this stage. I might use myself as the installer because I'm a good guy. Actually, there's not much details about me. I don't need it because I know who I am. You might also select the salesman's name at this stage because the salesman wants to get paid, and we want those details to appear, and he will get his commissions and what have you. So in a nutshell, that's the basic process of setting up a job prior to the modelling stage, and it's now ready for you to get stuck into the model. Just a little aside to this, you might have the opportunity to export all the people that you create in your database for use in another program. You click the export people button and it will create a text file for import to another program, and in the same way you can actually import from another program provided the information is in the right format. And the only other thing of note at this stage, so that the right details come out on the on your proposal, you can define your company details here, and depending on how you created your template, these are the details that will automatically go into the template that shows your company. It provides the opportunity for you to have multiple companies. You might be quoting for 2 or 3 companies within the same group, for example. So that's about it on the job setup side. Once again, any questions, fire an email at the support department and one of us will be pleased to get back to you. Thanks for your time.